Welcome in to Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I'm Megan Payton. We are here to recap the Steelers versus Bengals game. If you sat through and watched this whole game, I am sorry. I just did the exact same thing and it was very upsetting. And I hope we can make this video a little bit more pleasant than the game was, because 41-10 was the final score for this divisional game. I mean, really just awful in all phases of the ball. Chase Claypool, I think he struggled a lot. He dropped a lot of passes. Big Ben struggled. The offensive line was bad. The defensive line was bad. There was a ton of missed tackles that happened in this game. And I mean, you could see and hear the frustration in the players and Coach Mike Tomlin after the game during their press conferences. TJ Watt said, "We can't keep playing like this. It's absolutely embarrassing." Cameron Hayward said, "We sucked out there." And head coach Mike Tomlin said, "We got beat up front on both sides of the ball." So we're here to kind of break down what happened. Unfortunately, not a ton of positive things to talk about, but we'll try to do as much as we can. I do want your your one-word reaction to today's loss. This is our pinned comment. So if you do get the ad break right here, make sure you go down, get all your thoughts, get your feelings out. Here at Steelers Talk, we allow you guys to vent it out. So say whatever you are feeling. I'm going to just break the rules here and give you 3 words because I couldn't come up with one word. This game was hard to watch. As simple as that. I mean, I think Steelers fans all over the place, we all had the same feeling of, can this end sooner? Because that game felt long. It was painful. It didn't get better. And really, just like we said, there was many issues around the whole entire phase of each game. I mean, the Steelers only had 13 first downs. The Bengals had 25. Steelers had 253 total yards. Meanwhile, the Bengals had 370. They outplayed them. They out-tackled them. They really just were the better team today. And I know that the Steelers are dealing with injuries. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick back, TJ Watt back, but they need Joe Hayden back. That was someone that I think the Steelers really missed out there today. James Pierre had to come in for him. He didn't play well. We're going to talk about him later in this video, but I do think Joe Hayden is such a key to this defense, and he's dealing with that foot injury. We don't know when he's going to be back, but it wasn't great with the backup. James Pierre did not fulfill that role nearly as well as Joe Hayden would. So unfortunately, those are things outside of Pittsburgh's control. We are going to put some blame on this game. This is where we shout out one person, but before we do that, I am going to tell you about or actually, you know what? Let's get to this question first. Let's go to the comments right now and let's say, who do we blame for this loss? We're going to get the negative stuff out of the way, then we're going to move over to the positive stuff. But go to the comments right now. Let me know. It can be a player. It can be a coach. I think there's a couple top candidates for this one, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts. So get your votes in. We'll talk to you guys about what you think, what I think, and then we'll obviously talk more about it later this week. But I do want to talk to you about something that is positive, and that is we are on the Black Friday weekend. It's Cyber Monday tomorrow, and Fanatics is offering a great deal for you guys if you use chatsports.com/Steelers hoodie. I'm telling you, if you guys wait for your holiday gifts after Black Friday, you're going to end up spending so much more money. So now is the time. Go check out some of these great Steelers hoodies. They've got zip ups. And I told you guys last video, I'm telling you this again. If you have a girl in your life and she loves the Steelers, do not get her some basic, bulky, weird Steelers gear. Erin Andrews came out with an amazing line. It's called Wear. She has this awesome zip up that is, I think, up to like 40% off. There's great deals right now. So get your girlfriend something that she'll actually like, or your wife or your sister. I don't care what it is, but go to chatsports.com/Steelers hoodie. Take advantage of this Black Friday weekend sale. Okay, back to the negative. Sorry, guys. But James Pierre, as we said, came in for Joe Hayden. He did not play well. He missed a ton of tackles. He got beat by Higgins a bunch. Higgins got a touchdown off of him. And I mean, yeah, you can see he had 4 tackles, but really just if you watch the game, you see how much he struggled. I'd say this was probably one of the worst performances by a cornerback on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I get it, he's a backup, he shouldn't be starting, but you'd like to see a little bit more from a guy like him. So unfortunate there. Obviously, the player of the day today in this game was Joe Mixon, who had a career high of 165 yards. He had 28 carries. He averaged 5.9 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. And I mean, he was just all over the place. The Steelers could not do anything. He was by far the most dominant player on this team. I mean, in this game, not on that. I wish he was on the Steelers, but and the Steelers couldn't run the ball much either. But as we said, injuries have been an issue for Pittsburgh, and they continue to pile up. Robert Spillane, he left with a knee injury. He was coming in for Devin Bush, who we know has been struggling all season long. You guys have made it clear that you don't want to see much more of him. So Robert Spillane was in, and to be honest, I mean, he had an okay game, but now this knee injury is a problem. Do not know how long he's going to be out. We will have more updates for you as the week goes on. Another unfortunate news, if you missed it, was Pat Freiermuth, who actually did have a touchdown today. He left the game and is being evaluated for a concussion. So, fingers are crossed. I don't think the Steelers can afford to lose Freiermuth. He's had games where he's struggled, but ultimately, I think Freiermuth is someone that is a positive addition to this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. He had 4 receptions today, 40 yards, and as we said, he had 1 touchdown. And by the way, if we are going to say some positive things, he actually he tied the record for Heath Miller's rookie mark of 6 touchdown receptions in his rookie year. So congratulations to Pat Freiermuth. We are obviously wishing him the best and hoping he is back out there next week because the Steelers are going to need him. The missed tackles continue to be a huge problem for Pittsburgh. This has been a common theme. I almost feel like we could take our video from last week, plug it in right here because they cannot figure this out. And it's so crazy because when you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, you think about such a dominant defense with TJ Watt, with Cameron Hayward, and both of those guys are absolutely, I'd say, holding this defense together. And I saw one of you guys say this in the comments last week that we're not giving enough credit to Cameron Hayward. And so I will say, you look at this defensive line and Cameron Hayward, he's playing tough, he's playing hard, and he's playing as much as he can with what he's got. I think Chris Wormley, yes, he did have a sack today, but, Isaiah Buggs, these guys are going to need to step up as the season goes on. Buggs did not play today, but I'd say that we need to see more out of Wormley. We do need to see more out of Loudermilk if he's going to be playing. Obviously, we are missing Stephon Tuitt, who has been out all year. Tyson Alulu, would be nice to have him back, but these injuries are not helping the Steelers, but they need to figure out tackling one way or another. And so I'd say this game was pretty concerning because the Chargers game at least was very close and you felt like the Steelers fought back and they were ready to win. But I mean, this game was ridiculous. They pulled Joe Burrow out at the end of the game. So I am going to stop this for a second and just ask you guys, what is your concern level for the season? Right now the Steelers sit at 5-5-1 with that tie. So let's get our, feelings out right now. We're going to scale this 1 to 10 on our concern level. If you're not concerned at all, you think the Steelers are going to bounce right back, you can go into the comments and put 1. And if you're saying season's over, go to the comments, type 10, or maybe it's somewhere in between. I'm going to say I'm nervous at about like a 6 right now. I will say, though, that hopefully the things start to improve for the Steelers with the injuries, hopefully clearing up. Mike Tomlin's going to have a hard week of practice for these guys. They're going to have a hard game coming up. But these are all things that we keep you updated with here at Chat Sports. So if you have not already, please make sure you go and subscribe to our channel. Go to youtube.com/Steelers TV or click that big red button, whatever is easiest. But through it all, we are here to talk Pittsburgh Steelers. So be a real fan. Join the community here at Chat Sports. We promise to keep you updated all season long. Another thing that was an issue for this Steelers team during this game was the turnover battle. And Mike Tomlin has talked about the importance of winning the turnover battle. They did not do that against the Bengals. In fact, it was pretty brutal. If you look at what the Bengals did versus what the Steelers did, Minkah Fitzpatrick did have that 1 interception. So that was great. But unfortunately, the play right after, Big Ben throws another interception. So unfortunately it didn't do much. Minkah is another guy that I think he's playing hard. Obviously, we didn't have him last week, so he's out there playing tough, and that interception was great. He had 8 tackles today, 1 pass breakup. But ultimately, like we said, the Bengals won the turnover battle. They had the Mike Hilton interception. They had the Eli Apple interception, and then Big Ben fumbled. So Mike Hilton, even with his interception, was a pick six. So you can't have that happen. I think these are all things that the Steelers are going to need to look at. But Mike Tomlin has made it very clear. If you lose the turnover battle, there's a high chance you are going to lose the game. And I think Big Ben struggled today. I really do. And, he had such a good game, I'd say, last week against the Chargers. But, this offensive line isn't helping him, but he was 24 out of 41. Today, he had 263 yards. So, yeah, you look at these stats and maybe it looks okay. But 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, not great. Some of this can be blamed on the receivers. Some of this can be blamed on the offensive line. But Big Ben did not look as strong as he did last week or even in weeks prior. So I think this is going to be a game of reflection for the Steelers. I think they're going to look at this and go, hey, we got beat. Our butts got beat today against this Bengals team, and it's a divisional game. They lost, obviously, the first game against Cincinnati. So you hate to see this happen. You hate for it to be one of those games where it just feels long. The guys are getting tired. And unfortunately, these kind of games have playoff implications. You look at this playoff picture, we're getting closer. And now the Steelers are part of this others group. They're sitting at 5-5-1. We're going to see how this tie affects the Steelers. It could either help them or it can hurt them. So we don't know what it's going to do now. Obviously, we've got the Ravens leading the AFC. Number one, they're going to be taking them on next week as we look ahead actually to the Steelers schedule. This is going to be a very tough game for Pittsburgh. They've got to come ready to go. Then they go on and take on the Vikings, who are playing right now. I think the game is actually tied. They're playing the Niners. They're 14-14 as we film this video. That's going to be a hard game. That's Thursday Night Football prime time. Then they go on to take the Titans, another really good team. They're not going to catch a break here because then the Chiefs, you go on and take them on. They're doing really good. Patrick Mahomes, they're starting to click. The Browns, again, divisional game, going to be important. And then you end with the Ravens. So they do not have a break these next few weeks. And it's going to be important that they get it together because, they struggled early on in the season. Then they started to kind of catch up, play well. Now I feel like they're going downhill a little bit. Obviously, injuries are a concern, but Mike Tomlin needs to look at his team, get it together, because if they want a chance at making the playoffs, they've got to start winning games. So I will ask you this, as we head into week 13 next week, Steelers sit 5-5-1. Do you think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs? Go to the comments right now if you're feeling confident in Pittsburgh. Type Y for yes. And if not, type N for no.